Okay, so this is, for a long time, I really didn't care much about Vista until I heard about just these very few features that were completely ruined in 7, and it makes absolutely no sense. Actually, in the meantime, sorry, I didn't think to do this, but I'm going to be booting this at the same time, so I might as well. Let's go back to this. So I just want to say that there's just some features here that really make a big deal, and after learning that they existed, I find myself needing them every single day when I'm doing my work. So let me just show you. So if we go here, oh, and by the way, in case you didn't notice, have you noticed that like this little aurora in the bottom corner, in the bottom right corner of the details pane, it plays a little animation when you open a window. Look again. See? Anyway, you can pause and zoom in for yourself. When you're searching for stuff, now we all know this classic search bar that we even have today in Windows 11. But some of you may not know is if you go to organize and you go to layout, to pick, sometimes you can activate the search pane, and this gives you advanced search filters. And if you dig a little deeper, it is super precise. So you've got ones for the type of file that you're searching for. It goes over here, and it gives you where to search. There's a tab for date or date modified or created. You can include non-indexed. You can say any is before or is after a certain date that you specify here. Size, any equals less than, greater than, over here. That was just Windows 7 booting up. Anyway, and the thing is, these extra things like name tag and authors, that changes depending on which file you're searching for. So if you have email, that's going to change to email related ones over here. If you do document, picture, you see it all changes. It's extremely precise and makes searching so much easier. And also when you search for something that you can't find, like Vista, but no items match your search, I think there's something supposed to appear at the bottom. No, that's only 7. Never mind. But there's like a search tools pane. Actually, I think we still have that. Yeah. Saved searches also. So Vista had a heavy emphasis on searching. This wasn't the only thing. Now, the thing is, this doesn't always appear in any folder. It only appears in some folders. Like I think if you go into one of these, it doesn't appear as an option. Yeah, it doesn't appear as an option. You have to be in your user folder for it to appear there, and I think also in computer folder. Yeah, here. But if I go into the drive, it doesn't appear anymore. So it doesn't always make sense where they appear, but the fact that that exists as an option is a huge thing. Now, but that's not all. The biggest thing, the one single thing that is actually, let me mention here, if you go here to your search folder, there's all these preset saved searches that are really quite useful, basic saved searches that you can use, and they were removed in 7. But the biggest, most important feature, the thing that I most care about, the one that I actually find myself needing every single day, like I said at the start of this, is the ability to stack by any metadata property. Now, stacking was a feature where you, if you had if you're in a folder that had tons of files. Now, this is a bad example, but I'm just going to use the Windows drive or the Windows folder. Actually, let's use something a little more gentle. Okay, something like program files. And I want to, because you're in a folder that has tons of files, some of them are even in folders of their own. Now, grouping only groups what's currently open in your folder. It doesn't group stuff that is, it doesn't group content that is inside subfolders. Now, stacking solves that. So if you right click, you have a stack by option, and you can do this. You can stack, it takes the files that are in those folders and it puts them into kind of virtual folders in a sense. They're kind of like folders where they're automatically sorted into different categories depending on which metadata property you choose. So it can be type folder, authors. Actually, that's for like none. Let's use a better example, music. okay? If you had tons of music files or tons of documents, you could stack. This is an easy way, an instant way to categorize kind of automatic folders based on metadata properties. So everything that is classical would go under here, electronica would all go under here, etc. And you can easily switch, and it's not limited to that. So you could choose literally any data property, and that's what makes stacking so great. And it's so much better than grouping. Groupings if you only have like a few files, and you don't have to scroll on end and on end and on end. Let's just reset this. If you do grouping, I mean, scrolling on end, it's not so bad if you still want to see them. But if you want to group them, if you have tons of files and you want to group them, let's reset this. If you want to group them like I showed here, if we go to computer, and I'm like in the Windows folder or something, just imagine this as your documents folder. You're this busy, and the folder method doesn't work for you. You want to sort all of that, okay? I want to stack by type. It's as easy as that. Obviously, it's slow because this is an OS drive, but look how quick that was. All your file types grouped just like that. In Windows 7, and you can press. In Windows 7, this was completely ruined. In Windows 7, first of all, actually it's a library folder. First of all, they're restricted to libraries. That's the first big problem. Second of all, they don't even work properly. So the name is changed to arrange by. So if you're in any other folder that's not a library, stack by has been completely removed. In Vista, you could do it literally anywhere. I'm in the PC folder, I'm in a public folder. I mean, libraries didn't exist, and you could do this anywhere. Here, they're restricted to libraries, first of all. So if we go here, they're just called arrange by, and they have their own separator. And in Windows 7 in particular, when they tell you about libraries, this is what libraries are. It includes these two folders, and there's a button here. Do you see how there's only these few preset properties? There's no more. Remember, in Vista, you could use literally any data property. So if we go to pictures, for example, and I want to stack by something else, I can do that. Like camera dimension, date sent, description, dimensions, yes. Like I said, duration for video, any of that, you can stack by that. In Windows 7, whatever Microsoft assumes you're going to use. And if you want to use any other property, if you want to arrange by any other property, well, tough luck. It's not an option anymore. So good luck getting your content organized more easily, especially for larger files. Like, that's the point. That's what this is useful for. And it gets worse because not even all the metadata properties have different visual effects depending on what they're doing. Sometimes they don't even stack/arrange. They just do grouping or sorting instead, which makes no sense. It's unintuitive. Let's go by month. Okay, this is normal. One improvement that they did in 7 is they made little thumbnails for the stacks, which is nice. But if I do day, it's grouping. Do you see how this is literally the same as grouping? Let's reset this and group by date. Do you see how it's the same thing? Well, just slightly different. Reset this. And rating. See? The same thing as grouping. Let's go back. Group by rating. It's exactly the same thing. It's just sorted differently. It's probably mixing. Amazed those things clash, by the way. And also, if you, tag. Okay, now that's a stack. Why weren't the others that? it's ridiculous. It's unintuitive. It doesn't make any sense. Album, okay, see, that's not a stack. That's not a stack, that's list. You're basically changing views. One time you're changing views, now it's a stack, artist, genre, now that's a stack, but the others, you're just changing a view. I can easily do that by going here. What's the point of their range? If it's just giving me, what is this? It makes no sense. They completely ruined it. And also, the search thing I told you about, yeah, it's gone. How is this an improvement? How is this better than this? Let's go back. How is that better than this? How? This is unintuitive. You see, every filter you put in, it now has to go into this ridiculously tiny search bar. It takes up space. It looks cluttered. I mean, I get the argument that this looks cluttered, but hey, this is neat and organized. You're quickly cluttering up that search bar in the name of simplicity. It doesn't make sense to me. And also, some things that you would type in, like in. You see, in is counting as blue. Actually, no, I think that is a name. But sometimes when you're trying to type something like the name of something, Windows 7 assumes that you're typing in the filter depending on whatever you're saying. So it is extremely cumbersome and unintuitive. This thing is ridiculous, and remember, it's only just tags, type, date, modified. That's it. In Vista, it is extremely precise. Date, any, is equal to, before, after, size, equal to, before. Ironically, in Windows 8, they brought back some of those advanced filters in the ribbon. You can get these filters in the ribbon. You can just try on Windows 10 right now. Some of those, if you go to the search pane or the search tab in the ribbon, you will see some of these filters back, but they don't look exactly the same as over here in Vista, but most of them are there. They're just in a different layout, in the ribbon layout. So ironically, Windows 8 brought back a feature that Windows 7 just removed. It doesn't make sense. And also, another thing, I've got to say one other thing, let's remove that. I mean, recent searches, that's a nice thing, but the cons outweigh the pros for me over here. Also, you know the advantage of having in Vista 7 where you could have the details pane and the preview pane next to each other, like this over here, this over here. In Vista, that was introduced in Vista. So if I go over here and okay, now obviously it's not as organized here. I mean, the preview pane's over here. The advantage in 7 is it is up here, which is nice. But the thing is, no matter how often I change the size of the window, you see that the width of the preview pane stays the same. In Windows 7, here's the width. Let's exit full screen. Okay, it's normal. Look at that. That's ridiculous. This is obviously a bug. And the only way to fix it is to constantly reset the width. And you see now it's small. Now it's normal, now it's small. So obviously there's a bug with it trying to adjust based on full screen. And the thing is, when I close this and open up the window again, actually, okay, that's not the thing. Look at that. And this is Service Pack 1, by the way. So they never fixed this bug. This bug does not exist in Vista. If I go to Vista, I close the window. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, let's close this. It stays the same width. Why did Windows 7 add a bug that wasn't a thing in Vista? So these are the main reasons why I think Windows Vista is better than Windows 7. It's really shocking. But yeah, that was my rant.